What's up, guys? In today's video I'm going to be talking about 10 designer fragrances that every man should own. Or if you don't own, just smell them, just get your nose on them. Let's go ahead and start with the most generic one on this list. It's going to be Valentino's Born in Roma Roxa Noir. So this is a fragrance that's not really talked about too much, but it is my fiance's favorite fragrance in my collection. Like I said, kind of generic leaning, more like to that designer kind of smell. It does smell more like, I believe it's Ralph's Club's Eau de Parfum, or if not, it's the Elixir. But it is a really good fragrance. I don't really wear it too much. I only wear it, for her if we're going out or we're doing something together. I'll wear one. This is one of the ones I'll wear for her. Lavender heavy for sure, but even though I say it's a little generic, I think it smells more than most of the crap designers that are coming out. I am not the biggest fan of a lot of designers. I get these samples all the time. So let's say like Bad Boy, Elixir. I think this is absolute garbage. Same thing with another one that we can talk about, that it's right here. John Varvatos Artisan XX Intense. No, it's just John Varvatos XX Intense. I believe this one's absolute garbage also. But yeah, like, I think this smells nicer than those. This got a lot of hate when it first came out, but I guess it is what it is. People like the masses of, everything that kind of smells the same. For me, Carolina Herrera kind of smells the same, like just the Bad Boy line. Yes, they're flankers of each other, but I don't like any of them. So for them smelling like each other, it just doesn't really appeal to me. Anyways, next, it's going to be a Tom Ford fragrance. It's going to be Tom Ford's Oud Wood. This is a classic in the community, but I feel like it's a fragrance that gets lost in the mix now. It's one of those that used to have a lot of hype behind it, and now so many things come out that no one likes anymore, or no one even talks about it. Still a really great scent. A lot of people complain about longevity issues. I don't really get any longevity issues with this fragrance. A lot of people compare it to the Means Carved Oud. If you have one, I would say if you have Carved Oud, don't even worry about getting Tom Ford Oud Wood. Or, if you have Oud Wood, don't worry about that mean. But I think they're both going to run you around the same price, if I'm not mistaken. I'm more of a sucker of the original person that created the DNA first. So that's why I would rather go for the Oud Wood than the Mean Carved Oud. Next, it's going to be a fragrance that doesn't get much attention in the community, but I think it's a really good scent. But as I'm talking about not much attention, I actually don't wear it too much. It's Pasha de Cartier Parfum. I'm not too sure when the last time I wore this fragrance was, but doesn't mean it's a bad fragrance. Really good fragrance. I just haven't worn it, a little bit. It's a very thick, boozy fougere. Very masculine. It's kind of sweet, not too sweet that I'm not the biggest fan of sweetness, but it's not too sweet that it's one of those that it's going to overwhelm you. But for sure, it does last long. It does project very nicely, but longevity is definitely very good in this fragrance. Next is going to be my travel scent. This is the fragrance that I always put in my bag if I'm going to travel. No matter where I'm going, I just keep it with me. I've gone to Seattle, to Arlington. I think I brought this one to Florida right when I was visiting my parents. It's going to be Gucci Guilty Eau de Parfum Pour Homme. Really good. Used to love it. I've talked about this one recently, so I'm not going to get too much into it, but used to hate it, sold it, bought it again, love it now. It is what it is. I guess my nose got, between that, selling it and buying it, it was maybe like around a year. So maybe my nose changed within that year that I actually enjoyed that fragrance more. But I definitely thought it was a very cloying scent originally when I first bought it. Next is going to be one of the most versatile fragrances in this list. Even though they're all pretty versatile, this is probably going to be the most versatile. It's going to be Dior Homme Sport. This is going to be the classiest versatile scent you can own. Look at the dent. This would be my travel fragrance if it was a little bit smaller and easier to carry. I'm worried about breaking it, but if not, this would be definitely my go-to travel cologne. No matter where I'm going, I'm putting this one in the bag. Just because I'm always going to smell clean, elegant, classy. That's why I would choose this one. But unfortunately, I do have the 100 ml. If I had the 50 ml, that's a little bit smaller. I might not care too much about. I don't think they make a 50 ml. I think they make a 75 ml, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there's a 125. So honestly, this can't even go through TSA. But let's say if it was a 75, a little bit smaller might be easier to carry. But this is a pretty bulky. Especially, I carry a lot of things with me. If I do travel, it's for photography or anything like that. So I have my camera bag pretty packed. Next, it's going to be a classic. It's a classic. People still talk about this fragrance. Every date night video, you will get this fragrance mentioned. I'm going to go ahead and wipe the dust off the top just because I haven't worn it in that long. I'm just kidding. I probably haven't worn it maybe like a month or so. But it's going to be Dolce Gabbana The One, Eau de Parfum. I used to have the Eau de Toilette. This is the Eau de Parfum. I've had maybe like 1 or 2 bottles of the Eau de Toilette. Gave it to my dad when I bought the Eau de Parfum. Really good scent, really good date night scent. Longevity isn't crazy on this fragrance, but this is a fragrance I've been wearing for years. Since I was a teenager, I've been wearing this fragrance. So definitely a must-have. That's one of those that, you know, you definitely have to try if you haven't tried it already, just because it's still popular and it's been around for so long. Next is a fragrance that's getting harder to find. This fragrance has been, I don't think it's been discontinued, but it's getting really hard to find. So if you're interested in it or just a little interested in it, it's very cheap. It's like $20-something. Just go ahead and grab it. It's 100 ml of Dunhill Icon. So Dunhill Icon is a really good scent. This is another fragrance I used to have sold and bought again. People say it has like that grape soda opening. I don't really get that. For me, it's more a pine. Definitely more of the realistic pine. So it smells like, think about Christmas, the smell of a pine tree, right? I would say that made into it's like a fougere based on pine. That is what I would say. I have not tried anything else from the line, which I definitely should with how cheap they are. And then I think their exclusive line that's a little bit more expensive, you can still find for like maybe $30-40. Definitely want to get my hand on those eventually. I just don't really have space. But I should probably just, do it for myself, just because I really do enjoy this fragrance. You still enjoy it back then, enjoy it now. And I haven't really tried anything from the line, so I definitely should start trying different things from the line, especially with how cheap they are. It's like if I don't like it, then I'm out $20. If I don't like the exclusive line, I'm out maybe $30. But I've heard a few good things. I believe it's like English leather or something is a really good one for their higher line, their exclusive line. Next is another Tom Ford fragrance, and if you guys know me, these were my two loves for Tom Ford fragrances when I first started collecting fragrances. Ombre leather and oud were two of my favorites. Ombre leather I actually picked up recently, even though I loved it for so much, never picked it up. Masculine scent. Probably one of the better leather scents that's a bit more appealing to the masses. Maybe the Parfum's a little bit better. I think the Parfum is better. The one with the white label might be better. I don't really find it to be too much leather in that fragrance if you're too worried about the leather. I enjoy leather. I used to have a few cars that had leather interiors in them. I love the smell of that leather inside the car. I also love the leather. I used to play baseball. It's the new glove smell. It's, one of those that if you know, you know. If you grew up with it and you really enjoy that, you really do. But I can see that someone that really isn't just been around leather or doesn't have anything like that, I could see why it would be kind of weird for them to enjoy this, or see, kind of weird why people don't really, or just to see why people really enjoy a leather scent. But it's more nostalgic, just that smell for me, I guess. Which is really why I enjoy leather scents. But it depends. Some leather scents go crazy, and I'm not a big fan of the ones that go really crazy into that leather. Next is the best Sauvage. I have owned 3 of 5 Sauvages now. This is the best one. This is going to be Sauvage Elixir. Sauvage Elixir is the best of the line. For them to call it Elixir, it makes sense. It definitely is the best of the line. Unlike other brands that just call something Elixir just to put the name on it, but it's not that good of designers, right? But yeah, Sauvage Elixir, best fragrance. It's still pretty expensive. I believe this 50 ml is still going for about 130, 140. Maybe you can find it 120. I found mine pretty cheap because I bought it off some other guy on a Facebook group. I got it for $80 actually. But best $80 I've spent. If you're looking for projectivity, longevity, and sillage, this fragrance with like 2 sprays, you're filling up the room, and you're filling up the room for the entire day. And lastly, this is one that you're not going to be able to sample. Well, at a Macy's or anything like that. This is going to be one that you're going to have to either travel abroad, get your nose on it, or order a sample, like one of those 2 ml samples, and go about it that way. It's going to be Pas de l'Homme. Pas de l'Homme Intense, actually. So Pas de l'Homme, really good. Pas de l'Homme Intense, even better in my opinion. It does dry down the same to Pas de l'Homme. But Pas de l'Homme Intense, I think, yes, it's kind of close to Dior Homme Intense, but it's Prada's version of it, so it kind of does smell like Pas de l'Homme with the iris of Dior Homme Intense. But basically, the characteristics of that is more for like the beginning and the middle, in the middle of the scent, but then towards the dry down, it just dries down to Pas de l'Homme. So really good scent. It just adds more to the Pas de l'Homme DNA, which is something I really enjoy. So for the last one on this list, it's going to be Pas de l'Homme Intense. Now let me know which 10 fragrances, best designer fragrances I must own in the comments down below. Also, I do have affiliate links and discount codes in the description down below if you guys are interested. I would make a small commission, which helps support the channel. It helps me buy more of these fragrances. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Please leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. Have a good one, guys.